welcome to Plush2x's Vegan Kitchen, PVK, and I'm Plush2x. Today I've got a new recipe that I've never made before. This is my first time making it. I decided to expand my international cooking. As you know, if you have been keeping up with my show, I've made African food, I've made Italian food, I've made Mexican food, I've made Chinese food, I've made I don't know if I said African food already. I made African Italian. I made a couple of them. So now I'm doing Afghanistan food. Oh, it is so delicious. I used to go to this restaurant. It's in another state from me, and every time I go there, they don't have what I want because I get the pumpkin from there, and it's not pumpkin season. They keep telling me. So you know what? I decided to make that recipe with squash. Because, you know, it's pretty similar. So, and I had a taste for it. You know, I love that recipe. I think it's called bandoo or something. I'm not sure how you say it in Afghanistan. But yeah, bandoo, biryani. You don't get the biryani. Biryani means yogurt. So, yeah, without the yogurt. So, this one didn't serve it with yogurt anyway where I go. But normally, if you look on the tutorial on the YouTube, it's served with biryani, which is yogurt. So yeah, I didn't do that obviously because it's a vegan cooking show. So yeah, now this might be like the worst instructions out of all my all my shows because I did not measure anything. I did not measure nothing. I only made a small portion because I didn't know exactly how it's gonna taste. You know, I never made it before. So yeah, you can go on YouTube and check out some tutorials. You know, they'll give you the exact measurements, you know. But I couldn't do that because I did not use the exact amount of pumpkin that they use to use the measurements for the seasonings. As a matter of fact, I used different one or two different ingredients. I used red bell pepper and green bell pepper. They didn't even put that in their recipe, but they did put green chili pepper. So yeah, that's the only thing that I did different. You know, I didn't stray too different from the recipe because obviously I won't be able to call it Afghani pumpkin. It'll be Plush2x recipe pumpkin. So yeah, so you get yourself a butternut squash pumpkin. It's like a big oblong shape kind of thing. If you can get a pumpkin, it's great, but like they said, it's not pumpkin season, so I couldn't find any. So yeah, that stuff is hard to cut the skin off, by the way. Yeah, my wrist still hurts from doing that. But yeah, you cut them up, you cube it, and in a frying pan, you put some oil. You're gonna need some onions. You're gonna need some garlic. You're gonna need some ginger, tomatoes. Let's see, coriander, some turmeric, and some cinnamon. That's optional, you know. I had added cinnamon because where I usually get it from, they add cinnamon, and I like that taste, so I added cinnamon to this one. But I didn't see any tutorial adding cinnamon, so you know, to each his own. When you're a chef, you're gonna do what you like according to your taste bud, and that's what I did today by adding the red bell peppers and, you know, whatever other flavor that I wanted. So yeah, here it is right here. It looks good. Turned out well. I'm gonna tell them they can use squash instead of just pumpkin and not make this recipe only for the season. So I gotta wait till fall to go back to that restaurant because that's the only thing that I get from them because they got nothing but like meat dishes except for the rice and the spinach, you know, those. But yeah, here's the onions, the ginger, garlic. Oh, here's the rest of the squash that I didn't use. I'm gonna use the rest of that later. I only made a small portion just to know how it's gonna taste. Now I normally don't use my cinnamon a lot. That's why I put it in this bag to contain the freshness of it. But yeah, that's the cinnamon. Or you can use cinnamon stick. That's what one of the restaurants use. But I use my cinnamon powder. There's the turmeric and the coriander and salt they use. But I just use my adobo. And I didn't use a whole pepper. Obviously, I only cut a piece of it because, like I said, I was only making a small portion. And there's no more squash in here because I only put a little bit in there, but the rest of the sauce in there now. So I'm gonna cook some more of that. So yeah, let me tell you how to make it. That looks so good, right? I'm gonna enjoy that. Yeah, okay, as I was saying, you put the oil in the pan. You fry the onions until it's like translucent, like clear, you know, a little soft. Don't burn the onion now. And then you add your tomatoes. Like I said, I don't know how much you got. Depends on how much you're making. But I added a whole tomato in there. Added some tomatoes. Then you put your peppers. Well, you can cook the peppers with the onions, but I didn't do it like that. I did the onions, then the peppers, then you add your tomatoes, your seasonings, and then you let it cook down. You let that cook for a while, you know. And after that cook for maybe 5 minutes or so, you add the squash or pumpkin if you can get some pumpkin. It is May. I don't know if anyone's selling pumpkin in May, but yeah, squash works fine. Then you put your pumpkin in and you make sure you mix that up real good. You know, you want that seasoning covering the squash. So yeah, you let that fry in there maybe about 5 minutes. You know, make it medium soft. You don't want to cook all of it in the oil because you're going to add a little bit of water afterwards after it gets a little soft. So yeah, you want to fry all that seasoning inside of the squash for the good flavoring. So maybe 5-10 minutes you know, let that saute in the oil. Then after that you add some water. Like I said, I didn't have no measurements. You add some water, not a lot of water. You don't want to drench it. You know, you add some water, and then you cover it and you let it simmer. You know, just so that the squash can be soft to your liking, as tender as you like. And pretty much that's it. Everything should be cooked by then. You know, you add the ginger, all that other stuff after you fry the onions. That's the first thing you do. You fry the onions, then you could add the rest of the ingredients to make the food. So I hope I give you some guideline to do it. You know, just go on tutorial, or you can play with it and find my directions or whatever. If you're a chef, you know what you're doing. But if not, first timers, go on a tutorial and go with the measurements and all that stuff. But even then, you know, it's based on people's taste buds. You might not like too much of turmeric, and they said to use a tablespoon. You might want to use a half a tablespoon. You know, to each his own. So yeah, I'm gonna try the rice too. They got an Afghani rice. I'm gonna try that. I already bought my basmati rice, and that's gonna be maybe the next recipe. All right, stay tuned for that. It's Plush2x. Peace.